This is the RitewingRC Spade 66, a 66-inch wingspan delta wing with over 1100 square inches of wing surface. This particular model was built for us by Chris Click from RitewingRC, and it's really well made. It has a Hyperion motor of 970 kV. We fly it with 4 4S lipos. It has an autopilot, a telemetry system, as well as the RC system from FRSky with telemetry for voltage and altitude. Here you can see a spring mechanism for keeping the two wing halves in place during flight. We use a Castle Creations 100 ampere electronic speed control. And here you can see the equipment bay. We currently have installed there a Canon S100 camera. Here you can see the autopilot, the RC system, and in the back there you can see the GPS. This is the uBlox GPS, which gives us much better GPS reception than the MTK that is standard with the APM. Here you can see the camera holder. I like to use these foam camera holders. It provides a little bit of vibration dampening, and you can also adapt it easily to different cameras. Here you can see the hole in the bottom for the camera to peep through. Here you can see the skid, and this is actually the only criticism that I have of this plane. You'll see why a bit later in the video. Here you can see the takeoff. It's exceptionally smooth in the air. It really is, it flies almost like a pattern plane. It just stays where you point it. And this is what I meant by the skid. That skid causes a bounce on landing. Here you can see a Castle data log of our second flight. And in this graph, the green line is our current, and the orange line is the amount of power used in amp hours. The plane was switched on, and then there was some ground testing, throttle run up, and then this was the takeoff point. Right after takeoff, the peak current was about 72.8 amps. And then this was a period of flight where I just cruised around at low throttle. According to the autopilot, we were at about 15 meters per second or so, which is in the low 30s miles an hour. And then at this point, so from about here until about there, the airplane was in autopilot mode. And the autopilot is set at about 17 meters per second. So that is around 38 miles an hour. So you can see the throttle settings changing. Here it was gaining altitude and then it stabilized. Here it was going against the wind, against the headwind, and then more on the downwind leg again. Look at the trend in power consumption, that for this part of the flight it was fairly constant. And if you translate that, let's go to Excel. If you translate that into the amount of power used over time, so during that steady state part of the curve, we used about 0.21 amp hours per minute. And we are carrying about 10 amp hours in this aircraft. So that translates, if we use about 80%, so 8 amp hours of our batteries, we should be able to fly at cruising speed safely for about 38 minutes. And then last but certainly not least, this plane can break down into fairly small pieces, so it's very easy to transport. I have to say, overall, this plane is really impressive, and I think it's going to be extremely useful in our aerial photography work. Thanks for watching.